Hello my friends, I am Pam and this is my channel Made by Pam. So, talking about sewing, today is hashtag Friday Sews. So it is Friday, April 28th, 2023. Do you believe that April is almost over? Oh my goodness. So, I've had a lot going on this week. Well, so Saturday last week, I did work on a slipper pattern with my friend Kim Polton, and I will link her channel in the description box. But we worked on slipper, and I chose just to use 3 different yarns just so I could see the, like, where the separations of the different steps are and stuff. And the sole, it's supposed to have 2 layers, but we chose to just do the 1 sole piece just so that we could get a good foundation of how the pattern works up. And I don't know if I'm going to fully remember the whole entire thing, but I do have the pattern here in my book. So we was working on this pattern here, and I have my pattern all there so I can go over it if I forget anything. So I did this, and then I was thinking, oh, well, I could do it in black and red. So I started it up. I obviously did something wrong. You know, I could finish this, and it could be one of my kids. Yeah. Because I did the 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I did the 7 and then the 2 and then the final. But the thing is, it was a much tighter stitch than what this was. So the tightness of the stitch really makes a difference. And this is just a really much tighter stitch. Like, I have this much of that done. I think I had both of them done, and then I undid it thinking I would do something else, and then I just didn't go back to that because then I realized I really don't like that black yarn. And so I decided I really wanted to use this red yarn. Now this is a bulky 6. It's a red yarn that I got from, I guess I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, let's get back to what we was talking about. My husband just interrupted. He was letting me know that a tornado was going through Texas. And yeah, so he's dealing with that right now. So we got off work a little bit early so that they could all go home and be safe. Well, I guess not the home away from home. Yes, but so I'm working with this yarn. It's a thicker yarn. And so I'm not exactly doing the pattern as it calls, because I kind of like the idea of having the soles like kind of conform to my feet. And I don't know if I'd ever be able to replicate how I did that. But I did both soles at the same time, so I alternated back and forth, so they're pretty much exactly the same. And I already wove my tail ends in there. But yeah, these are my soles that I decided I'm going to use. And then I decided, wow, I want to really like make it nice and comfy. So I got this. It's another number 6. It's another thick yarn. It's from wherever it's from. It might be from Hobby Lobby. But so I was doing that. And I was just going to join those together. And I had started joining them together. And I got like 1 whole side and half of this done. And realized that it really was not going to work. because the way I did it, it really didn't plan for like the extra that I added. Yeah, I added extra, and I kind of made the foot go a little bit wider as it went up. I really don't have wide feet, and I probably should have left a little bump off and just, from after I got up there with the regular wideness, I should have just reduced it. But instead I've widened it and then reduced it. And so it's a little bit off, so I'm probably just going to end up frogging this one and redoing it. I don't know what else I would do except for maybe just attach it like right here and then still have this like go up the edge a little bit so it protects my feet. I'm not exactly sure. I'm still debating how I'm going to do that and what I'm going to do. Then my daughter wants me to make her a pair of slippers, and so I have some yarn I got from Hobby Lobby. Oh, it's been a while. But so, it's a blue and white yarn. It's a Yarn Play Chambray Day yarn. It's a number, yeah, I think it's a number 5. I mean a number 6, maybe. It really doesn't say. It says use a 9mm crochet hook, but that's if, well, they don't even have a pattern on it. But my daughter wants a pair of slippers also. And I'm like, I can teach you how to make them. She's like, no, I just want you to make them. I'm not interested in learning. I'm like, you're no fun. So, you know, I worked on this a little bit yesterday while I was with my mom, visiting her in the hospital. So, I haven't really done much sewing this week. Like, Thursday night, Friday, I stayed up and worked on some pants for my kids, and I've already shown those. And so that was great. They really enjoy those. I haven't gotten any other sewing done other than what I did Thursday night. And then I've worked on the crocheting, and obviously I'm not making much progress because I keep on doing it and redoing it and changing things up. And then Tuesday night, so it's probably about 5:15, my sister calls me, okay? And she says, I just sent Mom in an ambulance to the hospital. I'm like, what? She's like, yes. She's had a heart attack. I called 911 right away when I took a look at her. And so they got my mom to the hospital. Later I found out from my mom that she'd been experiencing pains for about an hour. And it just wasn't going away. So then she let my sister know. So that is a little freaky. So it was about 5 o'clock on this mountain time, Tuesday night. And I asked my sister if I needed to go down. She's like, no, not at this time, but maybe tomorrow. So Thursday morning, as soon as I dropped the kids off at school, I didn't even come home. Once I dropped them off, I drove straight to the hospital. And got to the hospital and found her room. And of course, I go to a different room than what she was in because my sister's dyslexia just kind of got a hold of her and she switched the numbers. And so I go down to this room and I hear her coughing. I'm like, that's not my mom. So I go back and they look on the board, and so we find out it's another room. So we went down to the room, and of course she was in that one. And oh, she looked so bad and she sounded so awful, and my heart broke. I was devastated, you know, but I stayed with her. They had come in and said that they were going to do a stent in her vessel. So like the heart, so like from up, like going down, like this left one, they were going to put a stent in. They said all of her other heart vessels and everything and veins were all like pristine. They were perfect. And her heart's not damaged too bad. It was mostly because she developed a blood clot in that vein that caused the issues. But other than that, she's doing excellent, wonderful. So she went to the cath lab, and they put the stent in. And I was on the phone with my sister, talking to my sister that lives in Chicago. And my sister that lives in Chicago was also studying to be a nurse, so she didn't finish because of family circumstances years ago, but she was really close to finishing. And she was on the phone with me when the doc comes in to update me on the condition and what's going on. Thank goodness, because I wouldn't have been able to remember anything. Like, I could read you the text that was relayed from my sister, because all I told everybody, because I have, like, no sense of any of this stuff. I'm just looking for it really quick. So, I put, that she's going to be monitored for 48 hours, that she had a blockage in her left vein for her heart, and she's still in the cath lab for a little bit longer. So they came in, like, had missed getting that done, and they still had more stuff to finish up. So they got that done, and my sister piped in and says, hey, she's having an ablation to break up the blockage, and they are placing a stent. And they asked what caused the blockage, and my sister said a blood clot. And then my sister also said she had an AFib on the upper portion of the heart contracting erratically, and with that, sometimes the clotting factors in the blood can be higher or irregular. And that she didn't have any major calcifications, and it seems only to have affected the vessel. And she had an ischemic heart attack. The blood and oxygen couldn't get through because of the blockage. So thank goodness I had my sister on the phone with me, because I wouldn't have known what was, really how to place any of that. So most of my family was able to go and visit my mom Thursday night. They took turns visiting because she wasn't placed in the ICU. So they could keep an eye on her and make sure that she was recovering. And then on Thursday morning, I came home for a little bit. And so probably about an hour I came home. And I was thinking, I really, really need to go down and visit my mom. So I told my daughter, I'm like, well, and I was also concerned because my daughter had an appointment that morning that she needed to get to. And I wanted to make sure she was going to be able to make it. And so my bonus daughter was able to take her and be there to drive her home. Well, that was good. So being that my bonus daughter was going to be able to take my daughter to the doctor's office for her testing, that left me open to go to the hospital for my mom. So I drove out to the hospital to visit my mom, and as I was going, I think I was on my way. I had just left my house, and my sister calls me. asked me if I'm going up, and I'm like, yes, I'm on my way right now. She's like, oh, good. And so we talked for a while, and I ended up talking to her the whole time on the drive to the hospital. And so once I got to the hospital, we finished talking and let each other go. So I got up to the hospital and just hospital food isn't always the best. It did my heart some good. It took that stress and that weight off of the pure terror, I guess. And I know my mom's watching. I know she's watching because she watches all of my Friday sews. And so I am so grateful that she's still around. But it did me so, it was so good to see her recovering and talking and being able to breathe. Because on Wednesday, she really struggled and she was wheezing and really having a difficult time. And so Thursday when I went down and she was able to move and talk and interact, I was relieved. So with that being said, thank goodness. So originally the doctor said that they weren't going to release her until maybe Friday. But with how well my mom was doing, and she was bouncing back just incredibly well, they had said that she was going to be released. My computer paused for a minute. I think I'm getting too full. But they said that she was going to be able to be released that afternoon. They said maybe by 6. But with mine and my sister's efforts, my sister was able to pick up the medication from the pharmacy and then bring it in. And so while my sister was there, the nurse came in to discharge my mom. I was still there. And so I had to leave because I had to go get kids from school. But my sister was still there for a little while longer. And so she was able to check my mom out and take her home. And so my mom was able to take a bath and eat some real food. And she was able to lay down in her bed and relax and get better. So thank you to all of my friends for sending out prayers and well wishes for my mom for her speedy recovery. I so do appreciate everyone asking and being concerned. I do appreciate all of you guys, and for my friends, asking how she's doing. It really touches me. Alright, well, that's enough about that. But other than that, everything else is going okay. I don't think there was anything else I was going to talk about. Yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm all talked out. Maybe next week I'll have some more stuff to show you. Maybe I'll actually get these slippers done. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see if I can get it done without having to unpick every couple minutes. Alright, well, thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Talk to you next time. Bye now.